All right, let's go ahead and let's jump into the new week. Everything is fresh, 0-0 across the board on all matchups. And let's break it down a little bit. Here we go again. I find myself facing Team Louis, who seems to be kind of one of those heavy hitters. Everybody's rolling along. I do get some favor again from the bye week gods. Baker Mayfield goes on by. I lose Jalen Hurts. Um, Fortunately, Daniel Jones is playing out of his mind, and so I don't feel as bad about Jalen Hurts going down now that I have some QB help. So Baker Mayfield will go down. He'll have to play Geno Smith, which isn't terrible that he's getting Brock Bowers back. So I think Geno might be okay. Um, I'm actually going to pull a Brock, and I'm going to hedge here because I don't know if I quite can get over the hump. I think I might fall to Jay Louie from Best Ball this week. I'm really scared of facing that duo of Puka Nakua and Rashi Rice alongside of Bijan Robinson. Meanwhile, I'm having to throw the likes of Woody Marks out there and hope on a touchdown from Travis Hunter. Um, and then the big thing, because this doesn't just affect my matchup, but it affects a lot of other matchups I looked at, is the health of Joe Flacco. So, he's got a an AC joint sprain. He probably will play if I had to guess, but I don't know how well he plays, and a lot is predicated on that Cincinnati offense in terms of how it affects everybody else's players.
So you got Jay Louie in a tight one.
I can only hope it's tight, but yeah, I do have Louis. I do have Louis beating me.
Tight's good. Um, I'm gonna say. Let me say a couple other things while I think of this because you picked the hardest matchup of the week to start on. Last week we both went 6-1.
Oh yeah.
We lost. Dino did not quite pull out the victory against Schlydog to make us 7-0. So we were 6-1. We currently sit at 31-26 on the year. Not bad. Not a bad week. We needed one of those. Oh boy. Oh, and the other thing was that there was no fan mail this week, so we appreciate the interaction that y'all gave us. In previous weeks, we only hope that can continue in future weeks, and that you haven't got bored of us yet. But there was no fan mail to answer, so we were able to jump straight into these matchups. You know, I was gonna pick you as I scrolled down the list until I saw the tight end situation that you just mentioned, and that could be the difference this week. Like in this good of a matchup, that could be the difference.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
gonna
I
go with I'm gonna go with oh boy. You picked the hardest matchup to start on. The rest of them I had all figured out, and I
hey,
forgot that we start with yours every week. Give me you, even with the tight end problem. I know who I would play out of those two options that you have out there, and I'm not going to say, but I know who I would play. Even with your tight end problems and that scary duo at receiver for Jay Louie, I think Baker being on bye, even though Baker struggled here recently, I think Baker being on bye, he has Geno to throw in, correct? No, he does
yeah,
not have. Who does he have?
he is
Yeah,
Gino.
where's Geno at? There's Geno. Okay, he has Geno to throw in. That doesn't do much for me. So I got you in a real close one. Got you in a real close one,
I'll take it.
but it's it's gonna be close. That's for sure.
I'll take it. It probably will. Could probably come down to my tight end, which if you go to waivers for tight ends, I couldn't even come close to coming up with somebody who I thought like has a chance to have a touchdown or like a big play. It's terrible out there.
Austin Hooper has caught a touchdown this year.
Start Mac Jones or not Mac Jones, Drake May is playing out of his mind too, so that offense should be able to facilitate a little bit towards him, but All right. Well,
I
I
don't know.
guess
I don't know the snap. I don't know the snap count, the snap percentage that both of them play, but I would have to think Austin Hooper plays more snaps than Ben Sinnott.
yeah, I would think so. Probably not by much, but Ben Sinnott literally comes in for one play a game, I feel like. Maybe three. But yeah, I
So
don't know.
you can probably tell who I'm leaning towards telling you to play, but that's your decision, obviously.
Like I said, I have just because Ben Sinnott's in the lineup doesn't mean that's who I'm playing. I have not decided yet. If the guy I might play might still be on waivers. You never know. There's a lot of them out there that I was picking between. So, but anyways, enough about my tight end situation.
So
Let's go ahead.
Jay
Let's go
Louis
ahead and
also has Well, I guess Jay Louis has his lineup set. It seems like that's who he's going to be playing. He has some good guys on his bench, though, that are other options. That doesn't mean he has to play them this week, but Ramondre is still a factor in New England. Matthew Golden had a bad week, but he has some good weeks every once in a while. Harold Fannon's on by. That kind of hurts him a little bit. You got to go to Dalton Schultz. But regardless, you need the win more than Jay Louis does here. Jay Louis loses this week, he's going to be fine. You, in order to continue your playoff push and not fall back below 500, be a big win if you can knock off Jay Louis. So I got you in a tight one.
appreciate that. You're hyping my boys up. We can only hope. We
Yeah.
can only hope. All right, let's go ahead and go to you versus the Pigskin Princess. Let's look at your side first. Like you get Lamar back. That is a beautiful thing, and you get to watch him tomorrow night. Hopefully ball out against Miami. But then we're back down to your running back situation. You lose. You've been playing Chuba Hubbard. Sounds like he's going to be reverted back to an absolute backup, and so it's hard to play an absolute backup. However, you lose Pacheco to an injury for at least a week or two. You'll and You do have his backup in Rashard Smith, so I'm going to assume that you're going to play him. So you're kind of piecing together the running back position. George Pickens has been balling out. I like how you have him and Marvin Harrison in the same game. That should be it's both. It's Monday night and against like really shitty Dallas defense. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of points and it's going to be back and forth. So to have like two two of the main receivers in one game on Monday night, that's pretty exciting to have, and also to have the stack with one of them as well. But on the other side, you have I mentioned this in Pigskin Princess, Kyron Williams and Travis Etienne, both going against inferior teams. Their teams are going to rely heavily on the run. They're going to lean on them, so they're going to get a lot of work. The double dipping of the Kansas City offense on Pigskin Princess's team playing against Buffalo, there should be a lot of points to go around there. Um, she gets Jordan Addison against Detroit and Drake London. Those are kind of iffy, but if they do score, that's some good big padded points. And then Keyshawn Booty, like he's either going to get you her 4 points or going to get her 24 points. So, and then as I mentioned, you have George Pickens in that big time points, but she has his quarterback in Dak Prescott. So with all that said, I do think that Pigskin Princess will edge you out, and also this will be a pretty close one. But I think she's gonna get some points back from her two running backs to put her over the top.
An hour ago, I picked Pigskin Princess when we weren't on recording yet. I have changed my mind. I will be winning this week because, like you said, Brashard Smith is going to go in for Isaiah Pacheco. Like, I'll sub him in. That's a good matchup for him. Like, against Buffalo, they're going to have to keep up. He could have a good week. He could have a good week. That's not the reason I'm going to win, but he could have a good week. RJ Harvey, I wish he would have had last week. This week, he scored 3 touchdowns on 8 touches last week. He'll probably put up like 2 points this week. Won't probably provide much, but who knows? Hopefully, they use him just enough to give me some value. I love. I wish she did not have Dak Prescott going into Monday night because that would make it even better yet. But I love having George Pickens, Kyler Murray, and Marvin Harrison Jr. going into that Monday matchup. And so if I am not too far behind, now I could be way far behind going into that. I might not have a chance to catch up. But I think Lamar Jackson has a huge night tomorrow night in Miami. I think I'm not going to be so far behind going into that Monday night matchup. that those three guys can, even with Dak on the other side of this matchup, I think those three guys that I have in a very high scoring game on Monday night will barely get me the win and push me to 6-3. But I will not be surprised if I also lose this matchup. I'm trying to will myself to a win.
Beautiful. All
You
right.
tired or what?
Yeah, a little bit. Let's
Thing
go
that
ahead
does
and
scare me though about Pigskin Princess,
close
her two
that.
running backs being back, her two running backs being back in should be favorable game scripts for them against two terrible teams. And then Worthy and Kelsey, like in that matchup against Buffalo, as good of a matchup as Brashard Smith has in that, because he should be getting some touches, catching the ball and everything. If Patrick Mahomes decides to go Worthy and Kelsey's way in that Sunday afternoon matchup in Buffalo, like they could put up some big time points. I can
Yeah.
just only hope the targets go to Rashee Rice and that Worthy and Kelsey don't get as many looks. But I have a feeling that ball is going to be spread around and they're all going to be putting up points
And
because
don't forget, we
Buffalo's defense is not very good.
no, it's I mean, it's okay. It's not terrible.
It's
But
it's not terrible, but it ain't what it has been.
um and then like somehow we just are skipping over Jackson Dart on her team as well. I
Yeah,
mean, everybody's eyes are on like who's taking over Cam Scadaboo's spot, like how effective will Tyrone Tracy be? But there is a world where Jackson Dart just runs more. He literally
yeah,
just takes it all on him and he plays Superman and she might have kind of like a Lamar Jackson light on her hands. So, that's a little scary on your end too, because he could just kind of put the weight on his shoulders and just go for it.
yeah. And also looking at Jordan Addison, I know JJ McCarthy. It seemed like Carson Wentz with Jordan Addison, like for the longest parts of the game, like Jordan Addison wouldn't get any looks, and then all of a sudden it seemed like towards the end of games, Jordan Addison, boom, 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 catch, catch, catch. He'd catch a touchdown. He'd have like a 10 or 12 point drive, and then he's like having a good game all of a sudden. I don't know how it's going to be with JJ McCarthy back. If they play in Detroit, they're probably going to be playing catch up against that Lions team. Pigskin, it's not that I really think the princess has a better chance of winning than I do. I'm just trying to will myself to a win. I need DK to have another, and I'm assuming that we're pronouncing his name right. That is how you say his name, right? DK.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that is correct. I'm going to trust you on that one. I need him to
Shimmeray.
have another Shimmer DK. I need him to continue to having good weeks, 16 points back to back weeks. Hopefully he can have another good week and give me some value there. So because my running backs, I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced, even though I'm trying to talk myself into Brashard Smith having a good week. I'm not convinced that they're going to give me much value.
Yeah.
I got me.
Love it. Cool. Let's go ahead and move on. We're gonna go look at Merch Luck versus Sly Dog. Um, you know, First off, I'm taking Merch. I'm gonna take Merch. It's kind of a no-brainer. There are some things that could kind of throw a hiccup in those plans, though. Jordan Love facing Carolina could be obsolete. Like, uh, Josh Jacobs could just run a million times, and Jordan Love might only have to pass the ball 16 times. Um, and the same thing kind of goes for his two duo receivers in the Chargers. They play against Tennessee again. They might not have to do too much to beat Tennessee. And what I'll talk about again is uh, that Joe Flacco kind of variance on everything. On this particular matchup, it doesn't really matter because if Joe Flacco goes down, Jamar Chase's production goes down. But if Cincy can't put up points, then Chicago will just run the ball against that really crappy run defense. So that also brings down Caleb Williams and DJ Moore. So it doesn't really affect this matchup because the scenario of him going down or staying healthy kind of keeps either they do more points or they cut back. So with that said, I'm just gonna go with the more talented team. When you have Jamar Chase and Lad McConkey, and James Cook, who's got some got the ball rolling here in the past couple weeks. I'm just gonna have to give it to to Merch Luck, and he's also able to roster or start two quarterbacks, whereas Schley is currently starting a Mac Jones who does not figure to play.
The only way Sly Dog wins this is if Derrick Henry and CD Lamb go absolutely nuts. And they could.
Right.
Derrick
And Derrick
Henry in
Henry
Miami.
tomorrow could go nuts.
Yeah, which for my sake, I need to hope that Miami can actually score tomorrow night to where it's a high scoring game and Derrick Henry really isn't just running all night. If the Ravens jump out to a lead, Derrick Henry, like if he scores a long touchdown or something and they get out to an early lead, they could just keep leaning on him. He could have a big night. CeeDee Lamb could have a really big night on Monday night. If they both have huge games, Schlydog could win. But I don't even with that, like I don't even know. I gotta take the more talented team in merch. I gotta take the more talented team in merch. And even if Henry and CD go off, still gonna be a hard time for Slydog to win. So I got merch. I got the more talented team here.
Okay. I think we're pretty much agreement across the board on that one. Next matchup, we have the Tidal Wave going up against Team Mason. I have Tidal Wave in this one. Mason gets finally a quarterback back, in just the nick of time. Justin Fields goes on by, but he should be getting Brock Purdy back this week. He can only hope. If Brock Purdy does not play, then there's no shot at all for him to win. But it does not matter because Tidal Wave has just been zooming. He has. I'll go ahead and skip to the bottom of his roster. Uh, Kamani Vidal plays against Tennessee. He should absolutely eat. Jalen Waddle against that really decimated Baltimore defense. He should eat. Quarterbacks are playing crazy. I am interested to see what that Denver versus Houston game looks like. If it's going to be like more of a defensive battle, or if there's going to be some fireworks or not. Because I could see it ending in like a whatever 13-10 kind of game. So we'll have to see on that front, but. It's unfortunate because I have to pick Tidal Wave just because I look across the Masons team and CMC and Justin Jefferson, Brian Thomas, you know. But I'm just gonna go with somebody who's rolling along and those points have just been rolling. And just go with Tidal Wave.
So let's see here.
I mean,
I hang
Mason.
on. I was my stuff didn't
Sorry.
quite. Go ahead if you got more to say. I
Well,
was trying to get something.
it. It's like I'm second guessing myself because Mason does have some pieces. Like he's putting in Kareem Hunt with Pacheco down, and Kareem Hunt against that Buffalo defense, he could have another two-touchdown game. And on the opposite side of the field, Khalil Shakir to keep up with Kansas City, that's a PPR god. So I don't know. This one's a little weird. I'm gonna go ahead and still go with Tidal Wave just because Mason is forced to play Ollie Gordon. That's really the only thing
Ollie
it comes
Gordon is
down
the
to.
weak spot. Ollie Gordon is the weak spot across the board here. And so I've got title. I think it's more of a Brashard Smith game than a Kareem Hunt game in Buffalo. So I don't think Kareem Hunt could have value now, but I don't know if it's his week. He's also starting Fryermuth at this point. Does he have? He has his X Man on the bench. He has Ridley. If Ridley would play, it's not that Mason doesn't have some really really good players playing. It's just that right now Tidal Wave, just like every single spot, is a good player.
Yeah.
And so when like any weakness like on Mason's side is going to be exploited, it just seems like because there's no let up in Tidal Wave's roster right now. So you were talking, I got title, but I could see it being high scoring. I think Title's going to win by just a decent amount, not like overly much, not like super close, but I think it could be high scoring. Like Title puts up like 160 and Mason puts up like 130 something. Like I could see them both putting up points. And at the end of the week, I could see like Mason here goes tidal waves median argument. I could see Mason beating almost every team in the league, maybe, or a lot of teams in the league, but just not the team that he's facing this week, unfortunately, for his sake.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think anything more to say about that one. Yeah, that one's just kind of a wait and see kind of game. We'll just, yeah, see how it pans out. Next matchup, we have Money Muscle versus the Scat Pack. The newly bolstered Snack Pack win that trade processes for the weekend. Um, I don't think it'll matter. I have Money Muscle to go ahead and take. Well, again, I analyzed this back when. Yeah, no, I do. I have Money
Mm-hmm.
Muscle to win. Um, he hasn't set his lineup yet, but Jane Daniels comes back. That might be a fun little shootout between Washington and Seattle. He's going to plug JSN back in that same kind of game. He's got Brock Bowers finally healthy, ready to ball out a little bit. Yeah, so that plugs a lot of his holes. And across the board, while Scat Pack gets some usable running backs, he's still playing the likes of looks like Jordan Palmer or Joshua Palmer still on his team. Uh, Playing two Giants. I'm not saying that that wasn't a fun stretch for the Giants, but they've kind of cooled off a little bit, and I don't know if that's really the way you want to go about it, is playing two Giants. So yeah, all in short, I've got money muscle.
Scat Pack's two quarterbacks can help him keep up. We need to talk about the Chargers wide receivers yet. I think Keenan Allen, it's not that he still can't have, good weeks. It just seemed like it almost seemed like Trey Harris got a lot more snaps this past week, and Keenan Allen was on the sideline because it was Lad McConkey leading the charge, Gadsden at tight end. Then it was Quentin Johnston out there, but didn't get any looks, any targets. And then Trey Harris played a lot that past week. So Keenan Allen can still have some, good weeks, but maybe they're trying to get their younger guys a lot more looks and everything. So I think there's too many guys on bye for Scat Pack this week. Brees Hall, AJ Brown, Terry is out. That forces you to play some guys that you really don't want to play. And when Money Muscle throws in all his regular starters, he's going to go ahead and take this week over the Scat Pack. I could see this being fairly close. It's not going to be a blowout. Not going to be a blowout. I could see this being like the matchup we just talked about. Maybe not quite as high scoring as the last matchup we just talked about between Tidal Wave and Mason, but Money Muscle gets the win by a decent amount. And there's going to be some points put up in this one.
Yeah, you're talking about Keenan Allen at the beginning of the year, whenever we made fun of the stack, and then we kind of had to eat crow saying, "Oh wow, like he knew what he's doing." I did say the thing about those old receivers though that seem to have this big resurgence is that the first half looks good of the season, but then once you hit that second half of the season, they start showing signs of decline, and so I think that's kind of what's happening in Keenan Allen, especially when you have three or four young guys, three young explosive guys that Justin Herbert can throw the ball to. It's kind of hard to keep up in that receiving room. So we'll see.
How
We'll
do
see how
you
it goes.
so between all their pass catching options between their receivers and add Gadsden in there because he gets so many looks at tight end, like you have to factor him in. How do you rank how do you rank all their pass catching options for the rest of the year? Who would you like to have?
Lad, Aronde, Keenan, and then probably huge, and then Trey Harris. Lad is
That's
the
the
fixture. Lad
that's the
is
order I got. That's the order I got too.
Lad is a possession receiver. He can also go downfield. He doesn't make mistakes. He is everything that Justin Herbert needs. Quentin Johnston was I hated him coming out of college. I hated him as a prospect. I knew he was just a TCU fluke, and so the fact that it happened this year, he is the biggest receiver in there, the biggest, probably the most athletic, but now that Arande Gadsden is there and Justin Herbert has an even more athletic and larger target that can take advantage of those kind of matchups, he's going to soak up all of those kind of mismatched targets. So when you have your mismatch target guy in Gadsden, you have your possession in Ladd, and then you've got Old Faithful in Keenan. I don't know, and it might be a rotation. It might be kind of like somebody always, but I've just never been a Quentin Johnston guy, so I think he's finally going back to where he should be.
I think you hit on that perfectly. I think Gadsden coming along has taken away Quentin's need for a big body, if that kind of makes sense. And then I think Ladd, because every time, Justin Herbert got in trouble, it was third down, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7. Keenan Allen got past the first down marker and Justin Herbert got him the ball. It seems like Ladd is back to being the possession guy that he was last year. Keenan Allen started the year, in more of that role. They just found that connection back, but Ladd is now slowly doing that more and more and more. And Ladd's last 3 to 4 weeks have been really, really good. So I got the same order as you: Ladd, Arande, Keenan. Keenan's still above Q though, I think, because I just think that connection between him and Herbert puts him above. So, um, but yeah, it's a lot of mouths to feed. It's a great offense, and they throw the ball a lot more than I think people thought they would. But man, it's a lot of mouths to feed. So it could be any given week, can change things.
Yeah, no,
I got.
definitely.
I don't know. Did we finish up on Money Muscle and Scat? Uh,
Yeah, uh, I think we have Money Muscle, or I did. I had Money Muscle. Go ahead and taking home the win.
we got Money Muscle. I got Money Muscle.
All right. Let's go ahead and look at Team C Mike versus Team L Stall, the most original team names in the entire league. Um, I we talked about this. Stall is crumbling. Just traded away a starting running back in Chase Brown. That might have been his only saving grace in this matchup. Um, you know, I'm gonna go with C Mike. He's got the Detroit stack, Jared Goff and Amon Ra. Zay Flowers finally gets his quarterback back, so he might find some real value there. And then of course, like he has all these just kind of high flying tight ends to get him enough points put over there. And then Christian Watson, I didn't know Mike had Christian Watson, and that's a story that has yet to pan out. But his first game back, he goes for almost 100 yards. It's kind of that nice little boom bust option to have on a league roster such as this one to kind of get you that advantage. But yeah, I've got C Mike to get his second win of the year.
I do as well. I guess the reason Stahl picked up DeMercado is because after trading away Chase Brown and who was the other McNichols, he needed a second running back to play this week. So he threw DeMercado in the lineup, maybe hoping against Dallas he's going to catch a few passes in that pass catching role. So we'll see. You never know. I don't think that there's enough firepower overall on his team with the guys that he's starting. Hollywood Brown seems as phased out in Kansas City with Rashee Rice coming back. Leggett just can't consistently count on him. Mike's team, we keep saying it, for a 1-7 team, it's not terrible. It's not a terrible team for a 1-7 team. Give me C Mike to get his second win of the week. And he's got it set. Like, is he listening to us live right now? He's got it set. He took his quarterback spot and put a quarterback in there.
He
So
might be listening live. I didn't know that we were live streaming, but maybe I
I didn't
put
either,
that on
but
there.
he might have found a way. Anyways, I got to see Mike
All right,
Stahl
Mike.
Stahl building for the future, taking his sixth loss in a row.
Love it. And Mike, I don't really know who Kalel Mullings is, but he's like the number six running back on a shitty Tennessee offense. And he's on IR. You might find some room there to drop if in case you want to pick
Well,
somebody
if he's
else up.
listening live to us, he's probably going to go pick up Tyler Johnson and drop Khalil Mullings. So
Probably.
if he's listening live, I might be in trouble.
All right, let's go ahead and go to our last matchup. Dino versus talk about a win. I so Dino has Saquon on bye. He is he gets some players back. He gets his Rams stack back and McBride back. I don't remember who I had at the beginning, but oof, is Nico like he just had a concussion, right? Like he should be fine.
He was
Yeah,
limited today. He had a concussion. I actually want to have a bold pick about him. He's on track to be cleared from concussion protocol before Sunday game. It looks like he's going to
yeah.
play.
Give me Go ahead and give me Greg to win this one. Even with Dino's Matt Stafford and Devontae Adams come back, they play against New Orleans. Like I said in your matchup, I think they just run and get out of there with an easy win. They won't have to do much there. And then on Greg's team, when you have Nico Collins, T. Higgins, you have Jameer Gibbs, that's kind of all the young firepower that's gonna, light up the scoreboard. So yeah, just give me Greg in this one.
Like when you first look at this matchup, Dean has not set his lineup, obviously, and there's a lot of guys on his bench that are going to be plugged in, and they are really good guys. The problem is it's about, well, that's one, two, three, four. He has he has like six guys on his bench that he's probably going to plug in and play yet. Stafford, Darnold will be in. Chubb's going to have to come in to play in that Saquon spot. That's the only option he has. And then Devontae Adams will be in. McBride will be in. Cooper Kupp could be in. So it's six guys. It looks awful, his starting lineup right now, but he has a lot of options that are going to be plugged in that's going to make this really, really closer than what it originally looks like. But I think that I'm going to say my bold prediction. I'm not going to say Nico's bold prediction yet. Sure, I might as well say it because this is the last matchup in it.
Yeah.
With Pat Sertan out, I think Nico comes back from his concussion and do I want to say a point value or do I want to say a top whatever receiver this week? I'm going to say Nico scores 27 this week against Denver in his way back from a concussion. And I think Gregory's going to get his third win of the year. After putting up a terrible week without a quarterback last week, I think Gregory is going to sneak out a win against Dean. This is probably one that it doesn't look like it's going to be close originally, but it's going to be close. When
All
Dean
right.
plugs all his guys in. So I got Greg in a real close one. And leading into bold predictions, I think Nico's going to come back from a concussion and score, what I say, 27, 26,
27.
27, somewhere in there. Yeah,
Cool.
27.
Yeah, well, that like you said, that does all of our matchups this week. Good luck, everybody. As mentioned, no fan mail. Keep them coming. We'll work on it. It's all right. I know everybody's getting a little busy. It's all good, but keep the news and the questions coming. We'll touch on them. So you just said your first bold prediction. I am having so much trouble coming up with any bold predictions this week. So I'm gonna go ahead and give my Thursday night first touchdown of the game. I
Yeah, do
had
that since you hit on it last week.
I did hit on Oronde getting it, but I'm having a really tough time going between. It's definitely coming from Miami, but it's between Achan and Malik Washington. And what's funny is when I was debating this earlier, is I had no idea that I was going to face Malik Washington. I didn't know Louis had him in starting lineup. Um, but I did go ahead and pick Achan to get the first touch of the game, so that works in my favor. I'm starting him, and Malik is facing me, but Achan just gets too much work, especially on the goal line. So I'm gonna go with Achan to get the first TD.
The obvious choice for that would be you would have to think Derrick Henry, but that doesn't. Derrick Henry has not had a Derrick Henry type year. I think the Ravens score the first touchdown, and I'm not going to go Derrick Henry. I think with Lamar coming back, they're going to want him to. I think Lamar is safe on the ground tomorrow night. Like I don't, maybe he doesn't rush quite as much. What was his injury? A hamstring? Am I wrong? Wasn't it a hamstring or
Lamar?
something with the leg? Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know.
hamstring.
Okay. He's on my team, and I didn't even know his injury. So I think maybe he plays it conservative on the ground tomorrow night. They have him throw it around a little bit more. I think he's gonna throw a touchdown to Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews will get the first touchdown tomorrow night against the Dolphins. I think
What the?
that's my pick.
Big
So
time.
whoever had Mark Andrews out of their lineup earlier at tight end, they had somebody else in, didn't they? Who was that? I don't know who has Mark Andrews in this league. They had him on the bench. You
Couldn't
might
tell
want to
you.
throw Mark Andrews in your lineup because I'm predicting him to score the first touchdown tomorrow night. Probably won't happen,
Might as
so
well. Might as well go
me.
ahead and do it. I
Don't
I
listen
really
to me.
I really
You got
don't have
anything else?
no, I really don't. I'm kind of looking through it. Let's go with let's go with the return of Brock Bowers. Let's say Brock Bowers he puts the cape on after being out for so long. He plays against an I mean the Jaguars defense is actually pretty good this year, but I'm gonna go with Brock Bowers to pull off a 30 burger this week on his return.
You know, I can see it. They are dying for an offensive playmaker to be back in that offense. Can Gino, because Gino struggled so much, he's still their starting quarterback. Can he find a connection with Brock Bowers? It's possible. Like they're dying for some explosive plays. Maybe Brock Bowers can bring that to him. And honestly, maybe that's why Gino and their offenses look so bad because missing that guy is like he's that good to where if you're missing him, it could make that big a difference in your offense. There was a reason why he was the number one tight end last year because he's that good catching the ball and getting open and making big plays. So that's a good call and you're in. I could see them force feeding him the ball. That's about I don't I that's all I got. I just want to say that Nico goes off. That's my big one for the week. And I'll go with Andrew's first touchdown tomorrow night. So we'll see what happens. I'm gonna stop there because we're about out of
Love it.
time anyway.
Well, the only other thing that I can say is 8-0, baby, 8-0. Nobody
Yeah,
else can say that. And life is good. Life is good.
it's a good feeling. It's a great feeling. And if you look at the rest of the season schedule, it's hard not to get really excited because they have a legit shot at 12 and 0. They have a legit shot at 12 and 0. They're going to beat Samford, obviously. Should take care of South Carolina at home. You have to go on the road to Missouri without, looks like Missouri starting quarterback will be out. And then you got to go to Texas at the end of the year. And I just think they're the better football team than Texas. That obviously doesn't mean anything in a rivalry. They'll be playing in Austin. But I think after last year, they're going to want, revenge and get a win this second year with the rivalry being renewed. I just think they're the better team at this point. Elko's got it rolling, and it's fun to watch because the ass kicking that they put on LSU in the second half the other night was quite fun to watch, and they got Brian Kelly fired in the process. So it was pretty fun to watch because they finally put it together the other night in the second half. The first half they were shooting themselves in the foot. Second half was so much fun to watch, and it's a bye week, so a easy relaxation week, and then they'll go to Missouri and hopefully get another win, go to 9-0.
We can only hope. All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys. Good luck this week. Everybody, put your jackets on, stay warm, and we'll catch you next time.
Adios.